what we've done here is we went in, part of the first canvass that the clerk's office does after the election is on Tuesday night the votes are counted. Then the rest of the week we are trying to finalize paperwork, get the worksheets done that the poll workers bring back to us that we have receipted out when they left and when they return. Those are done. Sometimes they do come back with a mistake, and we, being the CEO, I do have the ability to do that, and then we visit with them and let them know, you know, there was a mistake and you're adding or you're subtracting.
Sure, and I was going to address that after we did the
Yeah,
position.
well, that's actually something that I can do. Okay. And so, because we have to have accurate numbers, so we have to go through and make sure the numbers, you know, they have on there are appropriate and what they need. This is the recommendation. As the county clerk, I'm supposed to recommend, and I'm supposed to use KSA statutes to do it with. This is the recommendation, recommended to count. We have a change of address. If you could follow at the top of the page, you're going to see some change of address. The voter didn't change the precinct, they moved within the precinct, so that's a ballot that I would recommend that you count because they didn't move.
Crystal, can we interrupt for a second, please? Instead of going through all the lists and everything, can we just start with the provisionals and read them off and let us say yea or nay? I think that would be a lot easier than going through the list and then going back through, please.
We'll start with the ones recommended not to count. That's probably...
Yeah, if you'll just give us the precinct and then what it is, we can go from there.
Well, this, I'll just give an explanation because I'm not supposed to, if they're not registered, they don't count.
That's true, they're not registered, though, should we?
Yeah, these are the ones that's what you're gonna have.
Right, but for our accounting purposes,
are we supposed
would you please just give us the provisional, what precinct it's in, and then tell us why it's a provisional, and then we can vote on it, yea or nay, and then we can keep track of it, and then at the final count, we have those final numbers.
Okay, so I have a question. Am I supposed to give out their address?
You don't have to give the address.
No, their precinct. Am I supposed to give out the precinct? Because we're supposed to keep it anonymous. And I don't want... Well, I'm asking you since you're the county customer.
Well, it's a new one, but...
It's, you know, I don't want to give out the voters anything about the voters.
You have to know what precinct.
I researched all the issues that's presented ahead of time.
Did you?
As far as, that was not presented to me, but I don't know why you couldn't disclose a precinct.
There's no way of knowing who voted in
Yes.
that precinct. We have
Well,
500, 600 people vote.
But the voter does. And they do call after this is over.
Well,
see if
they're one of several, I mean, so you can't
Yeah.
identify.
I
who
just
voted
wanted to
us.
make sure that we were following the rules. This one is out of, it doesn't even tell us. This person forgot their photo ID. Just plain and simple, and it would be out of, the Center, they were out at Center Christian Church. So it wouldn't have to be one of the people out here.
What's precinct?
I don't know, because they don't fill those in, that's not required. All that's required is us to put this.
Last time we canvassed, we went through the same thing.
This
When
is.
we go through this, you say it's not required, so you don't have it. We do.
No.
We go through this every time we canvass. We have to know which precinct so we can count and add everything up. And we've asked you every time, just
This
have
one
the
should
person
not
put on the
count though,
precinct.
because there's no photo ID. The person came in did not even bring a photo ID to the office.
But you still have to present that to the canvassing board in this morning.
Yeah, well, the
And
only
we have to
thing,
put the precinct number where it was at, so when we're all done and we take the beginning number of people that voted and which precinct and look from your poll book and we add them up and they match the ending, so we know where those go.
But these will be ran through the M100.
they won't go with what you're doing. These go through the M100 if they go, if they're
Was
told.
they voted the green lawn?
Center.
Oh, the center? Okay,
Yeah,
center.
so it has to be.
What
one-
precincts voted the center then? What
Neosho
townships?
Melrose, Neosho Faulkner, Lion, Lion Trees, and That's it.
How do you know?
We know
You
when
got
we,
to know what precinct that it came from.
we
If
know
you're
when
from
we,
Center Christian Church, Collingwood.
Okay.
yeah.
Do you guys remember last time when we canvassed, someone had to take the ballots out
You want-
and look. Someone had to take the ballots out to look, to find out what precinct they were in so we would know.
You
How
have to
come
know.
that wasn't done this time?
You have to know the precinct, so you can add them to whatever vote person they voted.
When we put these into Elvis after these are done,
They want to know that.
then that's when these will come up.
Okay, that doesn't help us right here. Do any of those have precincts on there?
No, they do not. These are all like that because we try to keep the anonymity to it though.
Well, we went through this
Only
last
if their
time.
address changes.
We went through this last time, did we not?
Do you want to go out over there and run all that and come back? You want to do
When it comes out
that?
of,
Take these with you.
hold on a
I
second,
mean,
when it comes out of the machine, will it tell us what precinct it came
Yeah.
from?
Yeah, if they're not partial, then you have to hand it
Hand
in.
count.
But if they count, then they're gonna be ran to the M100s.
Now, our problem is then, the ones that don't count, how do we know which precinct to take them out of?
They're not
If they don't-
added
if
into the
they're- if
total.
they're-
One at a time, please.
If they aren't counted, they won't be opened up.
No.
If you
Right,
can't, if they're not
okay.
counted.
So, to verify the counts, we have to know which precincts didn't get counted. Take them to the poll. So if you have 20 votes that don't count, how do we know which ones to subtract them from so the beginning count and ending count add up?
Because these aren't counted into the overall total, is
And-
what I'm trying to get you to understand.
And-
These aren't counted in to the poll books, to
You
anything.
don't.
Let me try this one more time.
No, these
One
are
more
all
time.
separate.
Okay, very carefully. When someone goes in and signs into the poll book, we know there's one voter. If they go to precinct Baxter First Ward, we know one voter went into precinct 1, okay? One voter, precinct 1. The machine says one voter, precinct 1. Poll book says one voter, precinct 1. Okay? Second voter comes in, it doesn't count. But there's only one vote. So this doesn't add up. How do we know where to take that from?
Okay.
You don't
From the
take
poll-
it from anything
These
on the poll
the
book.
provisionals do not sign electronic poll books.
They don't
sign
sign.
sheets.
They sign these
They
sheets.
sign here, they do not sign electronic poll
No,
books.
they're not
They
even
sign in
in
here.
the total.
Okay, so how do you, okay, then how did you validate your ballots if you don't ever count?
What we do is we go through, we have to check the addresses in Elvis and confirm that that person either is a voter, that they're registered, that kind of thing. Plus, we look at this sheet that the poll worker fills out at the polling place and has the voters sign. These are the poll book for the provisionals. This is where they show up, just so everybody knows.
So in the
These
past,
aren't even added into the totals after.
Crystal, in the past, when we go through provisionals, you'll say we had so many provisionals at Baxter Ward 1, okay?
That's when we used to keep them separate. Now that we are in a group, we have more polling, or less polling places, and we've combined the others.
Still should be in the precinct. You have to have where they came from.
But what you've done since we've got the M100 is these all have to be done is sliced open and then looked at the bottom and they'll go to the right. They'll be counted in the right area. We don't do things the way we did last time. We don't do things as we did 20 years ago. The state also requires a little more different ways to do it because of climate and because of the Help America Voter Act.
How are you going to know where to put?
We're gonna know because when you run them through the machine, they're gonna show up. These, the ones we're saying that should it count, what you do is you go through them.
Who said they shouldn't count?
If they forget their ID, that's a good thing that you don't count it.
These three decide what.
That's, well, what I'm saying is we put them, like we have in the past, we put them in a pile, the ones that you said count. We can go back through and then redo it, just like
So
we
before
did
we
the last
focus on
time.
registration, let's keep one issue at a time.
Yes.
When you go in to feed that, you will drop it out, you will see what precinct it goes to, right? All right.
Yeah. there's
And
no-
then it will match up with the ballot number, which they can then put on their forms.
Exactly.
Is that how it can be done?
Yes, because each one of these are marked down the back, like this is number 40, So we'll know which ones. you
That
know.
is ballot number 40 of the provisionals.
Yes.
If it gets, those are numbered only because they're provisionals, is that right?
That's it. That's the
Right.
only thing, and that's
So
only.
do they have a list that goes through 1 through 80 or however many you presented to them?
They need to keep a list.
Okay,
Like they did
I'm gonna
last
make
time.
this request one more time. For November, would you please have the poll workers, when they have a provision, just write down what precinct or what voting board they were in, so we would know we don't have to keep going through this. It's simple, it would make it go by a lot faster. Where you're
What's that
not,
rule?
It's actually, if the voter's not registered, we have no idea what precinct they're.
you know what precinct the ballot is?
Well, it just depends,
That's-
because we don't know. There's a lot of times, we have people show up, and I know some of my poll workers are here that can vouch for that worked.
We wanna know what the
We-
precinct the ballot is.
We can do that, you know, I can put those on there, but when you do.
How about the precinct to which it's presented?
You can do that. It doesn't, now, you can't, it won't say, for instance, if it's a partial, it's not going to count or something.
Explain to me a partial one more time.
Partial ballot means that the voter moved,
Okay,
say,
some
you
of
would
its
move
votes are
from
good, some
Galena to
aren't.
Columbus and you came into, Columbus to vote, or Galena to vote, go back to where you were. That's usually the case, they go back to where they are, but they should have went to Columbus because that's a new address. Well, a partial ballot means anything that was countywide gets counted. If it's during the primary, we have committee men and women on there. You have township trustees and treasurers this time. Those are party, and so that's something that you have to take into consideration. So that's part of this. Is it a little different? A primary is always different than like a general election because the only people that were allowed were Republican, Democrat, and unaffiliated.
Richard, if they indicate on the ballots, the
What the
precinct to
ballot
which it
was.
was submitted.
What the ballot is, yeah.
Yeah,
What
we
ballot
can do
was
that.
in
You guys
that
can do that?
envelope?
That,
All
we'll
right.
put that on the corner somewhere.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The sheet I have doesn't address identification, but I'm assuming that you can't identify who the voter is, you can't count them, so.
That's Kansas law.
Well, if everybody remembers, we did call Brad Bryant as Secretary of State, and he said we could do that at that time.
What's that?
Put the precinct number on there when we were trying to figure out how to align them up.
Yeah,
So he said,
we
he
decided
said
to do that.
last time we did
All
this,
right,
we would
so-
do the same thing.
Well, this is what's going to happen here. This, for this person, I recommend though that we don't count it because it is state law to show
Okay.
a
We understood, hey,
That's
stop.
all I've got. I'm just making the recommendation. These are the
Okay.
ones how we split it so that we
Okay,
know.
let's back up, just
Uh,
tell us what you got and then we will vote on it.
okay. That's the first one.
What was it?
No,
No photo ID.
Okay, thank you.
This person was not registered to vote.
Okay.
This person was a Republican and wanted a Democratic ballot.
What ballot's in there?
See, that's why. I would say a Democrat ballot. I don't know. Like I said, we can't, we hand these to the voter.
You have to
We
declare
can't
before
look
that
at them.
day, that's what you're.
Yeah, a Republican can't ask for a Democrat can't ask for a Republican, you know, that's the rules. The parties set the rules.
How many days in advance they have to indicate?
21st of July, wasn't it? They were-
21 days.
Could the-
21 days
17.
before. July
Could the
17.
poll workers, whenever a situation like that, because we have no idea what ballot is in that envelope,
That's why you open
no, but couldn't the poll worker, if they say he's a Republican, he wanted a Democrat ballot,
it. That's what's
But
on the
that
front
doesn't
of
put
here.
wrong ballot,
Wrong
person.
party.
okay,
That's
so the
what's
ballot's
on
in
the
there's
front.
Democrat, so you're saying that's a Democrat
I
ballot
would
for
assume
Republican?
unless he or she.
But we can't assume, we've gotta know,
Well, the registration says Democrat, so I assume that they got a Democrat ballot.
Yeah,
but we can't assume, we
You
gotta
have to
know.
But I mean, they can't put exactly.
What's the process? Who took
The
the
process-
information that they were
The
Republican and
process
wanted a
for
Democrat
provision.
ballot?